even more power. Good thing about that, as the patient saves money, so does the taxpayer, and that's a good thing. So, the pre-funded, flexible spending account doesn't treat people like dependents of the government as do the enhanced premium tax credits. It treats you like a capable consumer who knows what is best for your family. You decide where to go for dental work. You decide your pharmacy. You decide whether to pay the cash price or the negotiated price that the insurance company offers you. And instead of Washington paying insurance companies to manage your day-to-day care, you manage it with fairness, transparency, and flexibility. Now, some will ask, won't this cost money? Of course. In the first year, it'll be about the same amount as the enhanced premium tax credit. And my Democratic colleagues should like that. But the individual would be getting better value through the federally pre-funded FSA, because she is spending it on that which she actually needs, as opposed to up to 20% of it going for overhead, profit, and administrative cost. It isn't just fiscally responsible, it's common sense. Who wouldn't rather have their money in their own pocket than for the insurance company to dictate how they spend it? So here's the choice before us. In conclusion, we can keep paying insurance companies to paper over the higher cost behind confusing bills in a system which actually raises the cost for some, or we can give Americans the tools, we can trust our fellow Americans to pay for their care directly at fair prices with transparency. If you will, it puts patients first, not insurers. It encourages competition, it rewards smart choices, and it begins to make health care truly affordable, not by inflating subsidies, but by unleashing the power of the consumer. Let's stop writing blank checks to insurance companies. Let's invest in our fellow Americans. I say this, we have to first open the government. This takes writing some legislation. We have to open the government. But we have to be willing to take a risk to solve a problem and not be afraid to do something different. I have seen in our chamber right now a hunkering down. We've not been able to solve it, so we're not going to try anything different. We're just going to wear the other side down until they wave the white flag. Now is the time to be creative. I'm a rock rib Republican, but I will say what I just offered is not a Republican solution. It is not a Democratic solution. It is an American solution. Let's open the government. Let's work together. Let's fix health care by giving the American more power, not the insurance company. Thank you.
Senator,
a question
from Washington. Without objection.
Thank you. Will my colleague yield for a question?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I noticed in your proposal, you're talking about something that you would hope to affect January of next year. Is that correct?
That is the goal, to have this ready for next year.
What is the senator from Louisiana's interpretation of how the market controls you're trying to create a market mechanism where you're giving the consumer the same amount of money you would give them in the tax credits to make the insurance more affordable only through a health savings account. But how do you know that once you gave that in the health savings account, the market is going to not still have an increase above that amount? So how do you think this affects the market?
Wonderful question. First, this is a flexible savings account, not a health savings account. There is a legal distinction. I want to make that. When the enhanced premium tax credits are not renewed, we know the insurance companies have already set up their rates. And so the consumer, our fellow American, will be choosing from the offerings that have been made by the insurance company for them to choose from. The difference would be, and they will see, by the way, that the policy for someone at 400% of federal poverty level costs about $2,500 more a year than it otherwise would have with the enhanced premium tax credit. This will be supplemental. We would say to that individual, you're at 400% of federal poverty level. Your policy is $2,500 more a year. You will get a flexible spending account pre-funded to help offset the cost of this. Now, if it's my family, I would say, I got $2,500. Maybe instead of going for a silver plan, I'll go for a bronze plan. because now I can offset the higher deductible with my flexible savings account. And because I'm going for a bronze plan, my premium will be lower. But that's trusting the American people. We are plugging into the current insurance market. We're actually not changing at all how it functions.
Would yield for another question. I'm assuming that you think affordability is the key. I certainly think affordability is the key. Nobody wants to subsidize expensive health insurance. We want to create market mechanisms to drive down the cost of health insurance, not just spend money to buy expensive insurance, whether you buy it through the tax credit or buy it through a health savings account. We want to create those mechanisms. So again, all of this is going to take place in November and December, right now and December. So somehow you would make some calculation in January about what would go into a savings account, or you're thinking of a flat number?
That's a wonderful question. No. If somebody, the federal government knows, or put it this way, many states have calculated what would be the insurance rate with an enhanced premium tax credit, and what will the insurance rate be without the enhanced premium tax credit. It has been calculated for our fellow Americans what the value of an enhanced premium tax credit would be if they signed up for a certain policy in their state, given their age and their health condition. They know that. The question is whether they get the credit or not. Well, they're not going to get it, so the policy is going to be higher. And this, under the plan, if we can agree to it, they would then get the FSA in an amount equivalent to that which they did not receive as a payment to the insurance company. Instead, it would be a payment to the flexible savings account they would have, and that they would then use it for these services.
If the senator would continue to yield, the issue is that, so much of this is already set up, and I think you're trying to be creative in a way to, instead of the Alexander Murray cost revenue sharing, I think you're trying to figure out something that would get people the same amount of money to make them whole over the next year or two. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So I would say what we're trying to do is make people, as the market is out there, whole over the next year or two. That's exactly what we're trying to do. We're happy to debate how we make health insurance more affordable. After that, that has been a goal of our side of the aisle for decades. We want to make it more affordable. Now, we all get to be measured about how successful we've been on that, but I think that we're going to continue to strive to make it more affordable, and really are proud that we drove down the uninsured rate with the Affordable Care Act, because we covered more people, thereby lowering costs because not having so much uncompensated care. So I'm glad to see somebody saying, let's talk and let's put a proposal out there. Happy to continue to have a dialogue about any idea that helps us move forward. But the issue is that so many Americans are in this moment right now making these decisions, and how you affect that for the next 2 years is the biggest question. And you and I know, if we said, okay, we're huddling tomorrow, or the finance committee is huddling tomorrow, then everybody would be up here trying to convince us not to do various things. So the question is, how can we protect the marketplace for the next year or two in the simplest way, and then get about us going back to business, talking to each other, trying to work out what are the best creative ideas for lowering health insurance costs. I don't know why we haven't done a PBM bill. I mean, my colleague Senator Grassley and I have a bill. I think you have a proposal. Other people have a proposal. We're letting PBMs get away with so much in the expense of prescription drugs. I don't know why we don't spend all our time driving down the cost of health insurance. So I'm happy to work creatively on ways to protect the market over the next 2 years so that we can finally get to some creative discussion. So I thank the senator.
Thank you for the questions, and let me just respond very quickly. I think the beauty of what I'm proposing is it fits in very nicely with the insurance markets as they currently are. It doesn't require anything to change between now and January the 1st. It is too late to change those plans and those rates. It is just too late. This does not require those rates to change. This would be something which could benefit our fellow Americans next year and could be implemented by then. Yes, the bureaucracy is going to have to work hard. President Trump can get them to work hard. You mentioned several other reforms. I am in total agreement. We should be working again, Democrats, Republicans, that's what we need to do to get something done, in order to come together for a set of proposals that will lower health care costs. And both as a member of the committee, we both serve on Senate Finance, as well as the chairman of the Health Committee, it is my intent to do that. We've got to do that. But this can work this year for Americans who are going to be on the exchanges, and that's my hope. With that, I yield. Thank you.
Under the previous order, the Senate stands adjourned until 12 tomorrow, Saturday.